What I'm going to be doing on this episode is something that I haven't seen anybody do on their 997, 911. So I might be the first one to do it. I closed out the last vlog talking about how I'm going to be working on my 911. I ordered a few parts, so let's go ahead and open it up. Before I open up the box, I'll be up front. It's actually right behind me, and I already opened it up and started working on it. I have the box set up on the wall next to my 911, and the reason why it's large is because it's a new front lip for the front bumper. Now, there's nothing wrong with the lip that I have right now. I just wanted to add a little bit more aggressiveness to the front. So what I did was I went online and I sourced a replica GT3 Cup front lip. And the reason why I bought a replica is because I know I'm going to be cutting it up, because the standard one definitely does not fit this front bumper. So I want to customize it and try to mate the GT3 Cup front lip with the OEM 997 front bumper. Since I bought my car about 4.5 years ago, this is now the third lip that I have on my 911. The very first one was the 997 TT front lip, and I had to customize it to make it fit because it was too wide, and the ends I had to heat up and bend so that it could fit snug. And after about a year of that, I wanted to move on to something a little bit more simpler, but have a little bit more shape towards the front. So I went ahead with the same lip, but this time the version 2, which does not have the air vents on the side, and it also slants out a little bit, so it gives a little bit length on the front bumper. Fast forward to now, it's been 4.5 years since I've owned the car, and I want to change things up again. In addition to the 3 different lips that I have for my car, I also went through 2 different bumpers. A few months after I purchased my 911, I purchased the Aero bumper, which looks just like the GT3 front bumper minus the vents on the top. After a while, I decided to not put it on because there were just way too many cars that had the GT3 bumper or the Aero bumper on their cars, and I didn't want my car to look just like theirs. So I passed on that. The next year, I got my hands on a fully carbon fiber front bumper from Porsche. And after I did some test fitting, I decided that I would pass on the idea because the overall shape and theme of the car just didn't mix too well. So I went back to the OEM front bumper and went with a modified front lip. I laid down the box so that we could open it up. Again, just to let you know, I did start working on it. So let me go ahead and take out the box and we'll talk about some of the things that I did. So here's the front lip, and this again is the Cup bumper. This is the Cup front lip, so it's more aggressive than the street version. So here's a view with the lip outside of the box. What I did was I used a rotary tool to cut off the tabs that were along this side, because with the OEM 997 front bumper, it doesn't have the 2 openings here for the tabs to go into. So I trimmed it off so that it could fit properly on the stock bumper. And if you notice the front here, you can tell already that I'm gonna have to use a lot of heat gun and bending to make sure that it fits well with the OEM front bumper. Another tricky part about the GT3 Cup front lip is the bottom here, it kind of slants down, tapers down, and so that leaves a little gap between the middle part and the top part of my stock bumper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the local hardware store, and I thought of some ideas on how I could fix this problem. So let's go ahead and change and head to the hardware store. I'm looking for specific items for this project, and the closest hardware store is Lowe's down the street. So I'm here right now. Let's go inside and get some materials. I always look back. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the lumber area and get some materials there. I found exactly what I'm looking for, and it's a pine board baseboard, which is behind me, and it's 3/4 of an inch. It's the exact measurements that I need for finishing off my lower spoiler. For the wood screws, I want a number 8, which is a 3/4 inch, which is this right here. This will fit perfect. We're all set. Got a wood. I got some finishing screws. Head out to the checkout line. I'm back home now, and I got all the materials that I need to move forward with this project. So what I'm gonna do is, on the next episode, I'm gonna start actually cutting the wood, shaping it, installing it to make sure it fits well, and then I'm gonna paint it afterwards and have it dry and cure, and then install it on my car for the finished look. I was in Westminster, and I remember that one of the famous movie locations in the movie Fast and the Furious was actually filmed in this city. In this particular location, as you can see, not much has changed. So the statue where the eclipse actually blows up is at a different spot, which is down the street. So we're heading there right now. This is off of Bolsa and Saigon. And I remember the supermarket here, and I think back there is where the statues are at. So this is the statue area. It looks like right here is where it used to be, but it's no longer there. This is where the eclipse would have blown up. I did come to this area a little bit more than 10 years ago, and I remember the statues still being there. I read up later that they removed the statues so that they could make room for additional parking. There's some leftover statues from Rui over there. And then some on that side as well. Some of the leftover statues. So this is where the statues would have been. I think they moved this area so they could have more parking for this area. This is really going to be a bespoke type of project, so I'm going to split it up into 2 episodes. So this episode, I'll cover the first half of it, and then the second episode, I'll cover the second half where I actually paint it and fully bolt it onto my car. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.